One night, I woke up in a pool of blood, and from that moment on, everything changed. I'm not telling this story so you'll feel sorry for me. I'm telling it because I have one question. If you were me, what would you do? There's a line, and once someone crosses it, there's no going back. No more forgiveness, no more waiting, no more love. Only one thing left: survive. And if you have to, give it all back. This story is about that moment. Melissa was my wife. We used to live a pretty ordinary life. Not perfect, but enough. I drove trucks. She did makeup for rich housewives. Every night I came home, sank into that old wooden chair, and she'd pour me a beer. Ask, "How far did you drive today?" I'd smile. 3 states, 12 straight hours. Those small moments, they felt like forever, until she started coming home late, wearing perfume I didn't recognize, eyes that no longer looked at me the same. Then one night, I woke up in a pool of blood. Everything changed. I'm not telling this story so you'll feel sorry for me. I'm telling it to ask you one thing. If you were me, what would you do? If you've ever felt anything like this, drop a "I know that feeling" in the comments. They say you don't notice the cracks when you're standing too close to the wall. I didn't. Not for a long time. I thought Melissa was just tired. Clients, long hours, rich women with too many demands and not enough gratitude. She'd come home late, not drunk, not high, just distant. Her purse was heavier, her eyes darker. She'd throw her heels in the corner like they'd insulted her. Do you know what kind of closet that woman had? She didn't wait for me to answer. Bigger than our damn kitchen. I'd sit there, quiet, sipping coffee that had gone cold. Try to remind her we were okay. Roof over our heads, food in the fridge, still holding hands at night. But that wasn't enough anymore. Not for her. "Sometimes I think I settled, Jack," she said once, staring at the wall. "Maybe I should have waited for someone bigger." And for the first time in my life, I felt small. Too small to fix what was coming next. But something was coming. You could feel it in the silence. Melissa stopped asking how my day was. She started talking at me, not to me. It was always the same. Some woman she worked for had a walk-in closet the size of our apartment, or a marble bathtub that looked like a damn sculpture. "We're poor, Jack," she said one night, not even looking up from her phone. "You ever think about that? That we're just stuck?" I looked at her, really looked, and I couldn't find the girl I married. That laugh, the way she used to sing while making breakfast, the dumb little dances in the kitchen. Gone. Now she only moved like someone waiting for the next chance to escape. I still did the small things. Rubbed her shoulders, warmed her coffee, kissed her cheek, even when she didn't kiss back. She never said "I love you" anymore, not out loud. But the silence between us, it screamed, and part of me started wondering, who was she really mad at? Me, or herself, or maybe someone else entirely? It was a Thursday. I remember because my boots were still caked in dust from 3 states of highway, 5 days on the road, 10 hours of sleep total. All I wanted was a hot shower and maybe, just maybe, a quiet dinner. But when I opened the door, Melissa was already pacing, arms crossed, jaw locked, that look in her eyes like she'd been waiting to fight. "You know what I saw today?" she snapped. "A diamond bracelet, worth more than everything in this apartment. And you? Still driving that rust bucket like it's all you're capable of." I didn't even take off my boots. Just stood there, let it hit, like always. But something cracked this time. Maybe it was the ache in my back. Maybe it was the years of swallowing pride. I didn't yell, didn't cry. "Are you done?" I asked. Voice calm. Too calm. She froze, like she'd heard a stranger speak through me. "Because if you hate this life so much, maybe it's time you find a new one." After that night, she didn't mention money again, didn't yell, didn't slam her purse down or roll her eyes. She just went quiet. And let me tell you something. Silence can hit harder than screaming. It lingers, hangs in the air like the smell of something rotting. She stopped fighting me, but she also stopped being with me. Melissa spent hours on the couch, legs curled under her, phone glowing in her hands. Sometimes she smiled. That old sideways smirk, the one she used to give me, only now, it wasn't for me. At dinner she'd nod, say thanks, then disappear into the bedroom. Door shut, phone still in her hand. I stopped asking who she was texting, because deep down, I already knew I didn't want the answer. So I started planning. Not for a fight. Not even for a conversation. I started planning. For the end. It was Sunday. The stove's igniter wasn't working. Again. I just wanted to boil some eggs. I opened the drawer next to the sink. The usual junk. Batteries, rubber bands, that one screwdriver I always lose. Then my hand brushed something smooth. Too smooth. A small plastic packet. I held it up. Fine white powder. Clean seal. No label. And I just stared. For a second, my brain refused to register it. Refused to believe it. But my gut knew. Coke. I placed it on the counter. Gently. Like it might explode. And then everything started clicking in my head. The perfume. The silence. The heavy purse. The cold smile. I didn't shout. Didn't break anything. I just stood there in my kitchen, next to the eggs I never cooked, and realized my wife was part of something I couldn't ignore. And that meant one of two things. Either she was in danger, or I was. She wasn't home. Out on one of her appointments, I figured. I walked to the bedroom. Opened the closet. Carefully. Not like a husband. Like an intruder. Behind the old coats and unused handbags, I found a shopping bag. Tags still on. Dresses. Tight. Expensive. Flashy. Colors she never wore around me. Then I saw the lingerie. Silk, lace, deep reds and blacks. Not a single piece under $100. None of it had ever touched our bed. My fingers froze, but my gut kept moving. I checked the shoebox in the back. 3 more packets. Same white powder. Same tight seal. I didn't shout. Didn't call her. Didn't smash anything. I put everything back, exactly as I found it. Because in that moment, I knew. Whatever she was doing, she wasn't alone. And if she knew I knew, things could get worse. Fast. So I grabbed my phone. Hey, Derek. I found something. I think we've got a problem. Derek picked up on the second ring. Yo, you good? No, I said. I found something. In the kitchen drawer. More in her closet. What kind of something? Coke. Fine. Packaged tight. 3, maybe 4 bags. Silence. Then his voice dropped. You sure? I grew up watching you hustle, remember? I'm not guessing. Another pause. This one longer. Don't touch it again, he said. And don't ask her about it. Not yet. You think she's dealing? If she is, she's not doing it solo. Someone's backing her. Maybe using her. If that's true. What? Then you're not sleeping next to a wife anymore, Jack. You're sleeping next to a liability. Or worse, a target. That word hit different. What do I do? Nothing, he said. Go to work. Act normal. Let me ask around. I hung up, stood in the kitchen, looking at the drawer I wished I never opened. Derek wasn't always the man who fixed motorcycles and grilled ribs on Sundays. Back in his 20s, he ran with a different crew. Fast cars, dirty money, late nights with blood on the knuckles. I remember watching him count stacks of cash on Mom's kitchen table, eyes sharp, hands steady. One night I asked to join, said I was tired of driving beat-up trucks for peanuts. He looked at me, real hard, then said, You step into this world, Jack. It ends one of 3 ways: cuffs, a coffin, or a bullet from your own crew. He made me promise to stay out. And I did. He walked away too, eventually. Said it wasn't worth dying young over respect for men who'd forget your name. That's why I trusted him. Because Derek didn't guess. He knew. So when he said Melissa wasn't working alone, I believed him. And when he said, stay quiet, let me dig, I listened. Even if every part of me wanted to scream. I did what Derek said. I went to work, drove my route, ate gas station food like always, but everything felt off, like I was walking through my own life wearing someone else's skin. Back home, Melissa barely looked up, always on her phone, always typing, smiling sometimes, soft, crooked, but never at me. She started dressing nicer, not for me, not for work either, just for somewhere I wasn't invited. I stopped asking questions, because deep down I already knew the answers would hurt more than the silence. At night, she'd slip into bed like a stranger, cold skin, no words. I'd stare at the ceiling, hands clenched under the blanket, pretending not to hear the buzz of her phone lighting up the room. That wasn't a marriage anymore. That was a waiting room. And I wasn't waiting for love to return. I was waiting for the moment everything would break. And in my gut, I felt it coming. I didn't hear the door open. Didn't hear footsteps. All I remember is pain. Sharp, Blinding. Instant. Something metal cracked across the side of my head, then again, across the shoulder this time. I fell, hard, my face hit the floor, cheekbones screaming, ribs twisted, breathing like fire in my lungs. Kicks came next, one to the gut, another to the leg, one to the face. I tasted blood. I tried to roll away, but weight dropped on my chest, pinning me down. And then I saw her, Melissa, sitting on me, face calm, eyes wild. "Listen to me," she whispered, voice cold as ice. "Don't ever touch my things again." She stared, unblinking, then stood. As she walked toward the hallway, my swollen eye caught a figure in the doorway. Tall, male, still, watching. That's when I knew. She wasn't just hiding something. She had backup. I woke up on the bedroom floor. The air was thick, hot, stale. My mouth tasted like rust and pennies. One eye swollen shut, lips split, ribs screaming every time I tried to breathe. I dragged myself to the bathroom, one hand on the wall, half crawling. Pissed blood. Dark. Thick. That's when it hit me. This wasn't a warning. It was a message. Stay quiet. Stay out of it. Or next time, you don't wake up. I limped back to the bedroom, grabbed my phone off the nightstand. My fingers shook as I dialed. 2 rings. Derek picked up. "They jumped me," I croaked. "Last night, it was her, and someone else. Big guy, just stood there, watched. He didn't ask questions, didn't waste time. 'Stay put,' he said. 'I'm on my way.' I hung up, laid my head back against the wall, and waited. Because now, this wasn't about saving a marriage, it was about surviving a war. 15 minutes later, I heard the tires. Derek's truck, gravel cracking under the weight. Melissa was already by the door, hair tied tight, eyes cold. "You can't just barge in here." She barely finished the sentence before slap, loud, flat. She stumbled back, hand to her cheek, shocked, silent. "You touch him again," Derek growled, "and I swear you'll wish you'd never been born." He stormed past her like smoke, found me slumped in the hallway, still in last night's clothes. Blood dried on my face. He knelt down, slid an arm under mine, lifted me gently, like he'd done when we were kids, and I scraped my knee. "Come on, little brother," he said. "Let's get you out of here." Every step hurt. My ribs felt like glass inside my chest. Behind us, Melissa was yelling. Threats, curses, nonsense. Derek didn't look back. "You'll pay for this," she screamed. He turned once. "No," he said. "You already did." Derek drove like he had steel in his blood. Sharp left down I-45. Blew past 3 red lights. 10 minutes later, we pulled into Ben Taub Hospital. Nurses rushed out before I could open the door. Blood still crusted on my lips. One eye purple, sealed shut. I heard voices. Possible concussion. Fractured ribs. Get a CT now. Everything moved in flashes. A stretcher, lights, beeping monitors, cold air. They stripped off my shirt, ribs wrapped, IV in my arm. Painkillers kicked in, softening the burn just enough. CT said hairline fracture in my cheekbone. Broken rib, minimal internal bleeding. Lucky, they said. I didn't feel lucky. Derek posted 2 of his old crew outside the door. Didn't ask, just did it. I lay there for hours, breathing through gauze and plastic, staring at the ceiling tiles. I wasn't thinking about her anymore. I was thinking about what I had left, and maybe, for the first time, I wasn't just angry, I was ready. 3 days later, Derek came back, fresh clothes in one hand, silence in the other. "Let's go," he said. "You're not staying here. You need to vanish." We didn't go home. We went underground, a safe house on the edge of town, single floor, low windows, smelled like dust and stale coffee. Inside, metal chairs, blackout curtains, burner phones in a shoebox, 2 guys outside, no names, no chatter, just nods. I looked around. Concrete floor, 1 bulb overhead. "This it?" I asked. "This is where it starts," Derek said. "We're not running. We're calculating." He laid out folders, faces, names, maps, Vincent Vince Reyes, the man behind it all. Melissa wasn't the end. She was just the first door. Derek looked at me, serious. "You ready to become someone else?" I didn't blink. "Jack Miller's dead. Whoever's left. He wants revenge." Derek dropped a folder on the table. Manila taped shut, thick with names and faces. "This is Vince's outer ring. Drivers, couriers, dealers, people who touch product but don't touch him." I flipped it open, page by page, dead eyes, mugshots, aliases, until one name stuck, Tico Ramirez. Mid-30s, drives a black Camaro, known for running pickups from East Houston to the port. Too flashy, too loud. He brags, Derek said. Says dumb things in pool halls to impress girls. One of those. Tico didn't know me, but I knew him. He's the first, I said. Derek paused. You sure you're ready for this? I nodded. He was laughing, while I was bleeding. That night I sharpened my mind like a blade, burned the name into my brain, Tico Ramirez, the first to fall, before they even know I'm coming. We found him behind a pool hall off Navigation. Black Camaro, engine still ticking. He leaned against the hood, laughing with a girl too high to know what planet she was on. Cheap gold chain, one hand on her hip, big man in a small pond. I didn't say a word, just walked up behind him and shattered his knee with a bat. Crack. He went down screaming. The girl ran. Smart. I grabbed the back of his head, slammed his face onto the hood. Blood smeared across the black paint. He cried, tried to reach for something. I pressed the barrel of my Glock into the base of his skull. Who gave the order? I growled. Say the name, or I start taking pieces. I don't know, he screamed. I just drive, man, please. You knew she was part of it. You laughed, he whimpered. It was Vince, Reyes. But he's not alone. There's more. Opalaka, Homestead. They move it through. Shut up. Start with names. Tico coughed blood onto the Camaro's hood. There's a guy named Rico. Handles logistics, plays Poker Tuesdays, VFW bar, East Side. That's where drops get decided. I pressed harder. Who's above Rico? Arturo Gomez. They call him Vince now. He's flashy, but the real weight, it's Don Checho, Colombia, real cartel. You don't mess with him. I stared at him. Sweat, snot, blood, all mixing on his face. Melissa? She was the in-between. Dressed up nice, charmed the wives, started pushing weight for Vince. Nothing big, but serious enough. You ever touch her? No. Hell no. She's Vince's now. Or was. I don't know, man. I'm just a driver. I stood still for a second, watched him twitch, plead, cry. Then I leaned down, whispered in his ear. If I see your face again, I won't stop at the knee. Then I swung, one last hit, not fatal, but unforgettable. Back at the safe house, Derek laid everything on the table, literally. Napkins, printouts, receipts, hand-drawn maps, names in red marker. Tico had given us threads. Now we had to stitch the web. Rico runs logistics, Tuesday nights, VFW bar. Opalaka's where the containers land. Homestead's for warehouse hold and push. Each name we circled brought us closer to the core. Then there was her, Melissa. She charmed her way into the network, Derek said. Got close to Reyes fast, faster than most. You think he used her? I asked. He paused. No, I think they used each other. That's worse. I nodded slowly. No sadness, no heat, just a kind of frozen truth settling in my bones. She didn't fall, she climbed. And now, she wasn't just gone. She was part of the thing that broke me. The company offered free therapy. Derek pushed me to go, said it might help. I didn't go for help. I went to hear what a man with a degree would say about what I was becoming. The office was beige, quiet, soft lighting, the kind of room where people confess and hope to be fixed. He wore glasses, spoke gently. How are you coping? I'm not sad, I said. Not exactly. What are you feeling then? I looked at the wall behind him. Tired. Tired of being resented for not being something I never claimed to be. Tired of walking on eggshells in a home I paid for. He scribbled something. You feel betrayed? No, I feel sharpened. His pen stopped. Sharpened? Like a blade. And now I just need to know where to cut first. He didn't write that part down, but I did, in my head. Tuesday night, VFW bar, East Side Houston. Not a place for music, just smoke, cheap whiskey, and too many men with something to prove. I walked in slow, hat low, gloves on. Back room was where real business happened. Rico sat at the center table, shaved head, big rings, laugh that sounded like he bought it off a bad actor. 5 guys at the table, cards, booze, a loaded Glock sitting like decor next to the ashtray. I didn't approach. Just ordered a beer and took the table near the jukebox. Broken, of course. Watched. Listened. Waited. Rico ran logistics for Reyes. Handled the routes, drop spots, container IDs. He never shut up. 3 runs this week, he said. 1 out of Tampa, 2 straight to the port of Houston. Reyes got it on lock. But his left hand kept twitching, small, nervous. That's when I saw it, the crack in his armor. And when I strike, it'll be through that. I didn't speak to Rico that night. Didn't need to. I let him see me, just long enough. He looked up once, eyes glazed from bourbon, then again, slower. Recognition flickered, but not the good kind. I tipped my hat, sipped my drink, smiled like a ghost. Then I left. The next day I sent a message. Burner phone, block number. Port of Houston, Dock 12, too exposed. You should be more careful. No reply. Didn't need one. 2 hours later he canceled a run, pulled a truck back, changed 2 container IDs. Derek watched from the outside, confirmed it all. That night Rico didn't go to the poker table. He sat alone at the far end of the bar, one hand on his drink, the other under the table, shaking. He didn't know who I was, not yet, but he knew something worse. Someone was watching, and they weren't bluffing. Rico found a note in his glove box. Meet me, alone, abandoned auto yard off Highway 6. Midnight, no phones. He showed, nervous, sweating through his shirt. I stepped out from the shadows. Black hoodie, gloves, no weapon visible. Didn't need one. You're not stupid, Rico, I said. You canceled the port run, changed the IDs. That tells me you want to live. He said nothing, eyes darting like a rat in a maze. I'm not Reyes. I'm not here to torture you. I'm here to make a deal. He laughed, short, dry. What kind of deal? You keep breathing, in exchange for names, drop points, and his next big move. Silence. Then, he finds out, he won't, unless you screw me, and then I promise you won't even have time to regret it. I handed him a burner. 1 text, 1 time, then this number dies. He took it. You working alone? I stared at him. Does it matter? The burner buzzed at 2:14 a.m. No name, no greeting. Tampa container rerouted, Dock 9, Wednesday, 11:40 p.m. 92 kilos. Simple, cold, clean, exactly what I needed. 2 nights later, another ping. Warehouse shift change now, 11:02, only 2 guards, south entrance unlocked. Rico was feeding me the skeleton of Reyes's empire, and every bone had a soft spot. I didn't respond, didn't need to. I cross-checked the docks, watched the patterns, confirmed shipments were real. Derek tapped into an old port contact. We verified everything. Reyes was pushing faster than usual. New heat from the DEA maybe, or greed. Either way, he was exposed. And I had eyes, feet, hands, and a reason. We bleed him slow, Derek said. Strike 1 piece at a time. Let him feel it before he sees it. I nodded. But I was already past that. I didn't want him to feel it. I wanted him to panic. Wednesday, 11:35 p.m. Port of Houston, Dock 9. I watched from the shadows between shipping crates. Security light flickered overhead. Cheap bulb, poor timing. The truck backed in slow. Container sealed. 2 men up front, 1 in the back. I gave the signal. Derek's guy cut the power. Lights died. Alarms stayed quiet. We moved in. Fast, clean, quiet. Crowbar to the rear lock. Pry, pop, open. Inside, dozens of crates. False walls. Plastic-wrapped bricks of white. Rico's info was gold. We didn't take it. We burned it. Gasoline. No sound. No gunfire. No bodies. Just a whisper of flame. Then a storm of orange chewing through Reyes's money. We disappeared before the first siren. By sunrise, he'd lost $250,000, maybe more. And the best part? No one claimed credit, which meant Reyes wouldn't know if it was cops or betrayal. And in that silence, paranoia grows. Reyes stood in his penthouse office. Glass, leather, steel. He liked power. He liked control. But tonight, the room felt smaller, tighter. 3 phones buzzed. 3 stories. None of them made sense. No cameras? No alarms? No witnesses? He slammed the desk. Then how the hell did it happen? Rico sat stiff on the couch. Didn't blink. Didn't breathe. Might have been the feds, someone offered. Feds don't light up product and leave no prints, Reyes snapped. That was personal. He turned slowly. Someone talked. Silence. Eyes shifted. Hands twitched near waistbands. Find out who. He looked straight at Rico. Start with your drivers. If one of them so much as sneezed wrong, I want him in a trunk by morning. Rico nodded. But inside, he was already bleeding. The fire didn't just burn Reyes's money. It burned trust. And Jack hadn't even shown his face yet. Friday, 2 a.m. warehouse on Clinton Drive. No guards, just 2 motion lights and a bad lock. We came dressed as pest control, plain van, clipboards, gloves, masks. No one questioned men spraying in the middle of the night. Houston's full of rats. Inside, shelves of cleaning supplies, fake fronts. Behind them, duffel bags, cash, pills, 2 rifles, 6 bricks. We didn't steal. We documented. Derek took pictures, serials, labels, time-stamped everything. Then we soaked it all. Bleach, kerosene, gasoline. Out in 5 minutes. Lit from the inside. No explosion, just heat, clean, controlled. The smell hit the whole block. By morning, social media had it. Fire near McCarty. No arrests. No suspects. But one photo went viral. Burned cash, half-melted Glock, and taped to the doorframe, a Polaroid of Reyes, smiling, arm around Melissa, with one word written in red Sharpie, "Nice try." Reyes stopped asking questions. He started burying bodies. The first was a low-level runner, barely 19. Wrong time, wrong shift, wrong answer. Shot twice in the back of the head, no warning. Left in a dumpster behind his cousin's taco stand. Then came Miguel, inventory man. Been with Reyes 5 years. Made one call too long. Vanished. People stopped talking. Stopped showing up. Rico saw it happening, but kept quiet. He wasn't loyal. He was surviving. And the more Reyes killed, the smaller his circle got. "He's burning his own legs to chase ghosts," Derek said. I agreed, because for the first time, I wasn't chasing him. He was reacting to me. He didn't know who I was, but he knew one thing. Someone out there knew everything. Routes, codes, names, even that photo of him and Melissa. And the worst part, that someone wasn't afraid. We fed the message through Rico. Simple, precise. New shipment, one-time route, no DEA heat, quick payout, Sunday. 3:20 a.m. Lot B, 17 Silo Road. It wasn't real, just an empty warehouse. But the key was in the bait. We used Reyes's own language. Codes only trusted insiders would know. If someone showed up, they were real. They were close. We waited. 2 blocks out. Infrared scope. Thermal cam. 2 exits wired. At 3:18 a.m., a black SUV rolled in. Tinted windows. Out-of-state plates. One man stepped out. Clean suit, leather gloves. Hair slicked, silver at the temples. Not a runner, not a soldier. Arturo Vince Gomez, Reyes's right hand. The one who touched everything without leaving a fingerprint. He looked around, cautious, but not enough. He pulled his phone, dialed. "We're good. Route looks clean." That's when Derek said it, quiet in my ear. He just called Reyes. Now we have the line. The call lasted 11 seconds. That's all we needed. Derek's guy on the ridge had a Stingray box. Grabbed the signal mid-air, encrypted, but not clean enough. 10 minutes later, we had a trace. Tower bounce from Eastwood to 5th, signal hops, 1 dead stop, West Belt Storage, Unit 417. We drove slow, lights off. Cameras were already blind. Derek jammed them before we left. Storage lot was empty, quiet, just metal doors and sodium lights buzzing overhead. Unit 417 had a red X on the concrete. No logo, no name, just silence. But the air was wrong. Too still. "This isn't a drug hold," I said. "This is where he thinks." We peeked in through a side vent. Inside, maps, photos, 3 phones, and on the far wall, a whiteboard. My name, Derek's name, Melissa's face. "He knows," Derek whispered, "and he's about to move." We were already packing up Unit 417 when Derek's phone lit up. Private line. Burner only 2 people had. He answered. "Yeah?" I saw his face change, like all the blood drained out in half a breath. "What?" I asked. He held the phone out, speaker on. "You've been busy, Jack." My stomach dropped. Reyes, calm, smooth, smiling through the static. "You took my cargo, burned my money, you even scared my own crew, but you forgot something." There was a pause. Then, a voice in the background, muffled, female, familiar. "Jack? Jack, are you there?" My heart stopped. It was my sister, Emily. "You left her out of the game," Reyes said. "But I didn't. And now, she's the next move." Click. Silence. Derek looked at me. "He's not just playing now. He's going for blood." We tore out of the lot like hell was behind us. Derek called his guy at Metro PD, burned one of our last favors. I need all movement on Reyes's vehicles, past 12 hours, east side, plates ending 37 Alpha. Static, click, one hit. Black Escalade, no plates, Warehouse Row, off Jensen. We were 5 minutes out, didn't speak, didn't blink. Emily was a nurse, quiet, kind, the kind of person the world doesn't deserve, but needs. She had nothing to do with this, and Reyes knew that. That's why he chose her. We pulled up fast. Derek popped the lock like it was muscle memory. Inside, empty, just dust, a cot, and rope on the floor. But on the wall, a smear of blood, and written above it, in lipstick, "Next time, don't forget your family." Jack clenched his jaw. I saw it in his eyes. This wasn't a war anymore. It was a rescue. Warehouse was cold, smelled like metal and mold. On the cot lay a burner phone, screen cracked, still buzzing. Derek picked it up. One video, unopened. I didn't ask. I pressed play. Emily, tied to a chair, duct tape over her mouth, eyes wide, red from crying. Behind her, Reyes, tailored jacket, cigar in hand. "You move fast, Jack, but not fast enough." He crouched beside her, smiled into the lens like we were old friends. "Your sister's sweet, real sweet. Reminds me of someone I used to know." He leaned in, whispered something we couldn't hear. Emily shook, tried to scream through the tape. Then he looked at the camera again. "One rule, you show up alone. I give her back. You bring Derek, she leaves in pieces." The video cut, static. Then one frame returned, a GPS coordinate, and the words, "Tonight, midnight, come clean, or she bleeds." The GPS point blinked on the screen. Old refinery lot. Abandoned 10 years. No cameras, no help. Midnight. I sat in the dark burner phone in one hand, Reyes's voice echoing in my skull. "You come alone." Derek paced behind me. "It's a setup, Jack. Classic bait. He won't give her back. He'll bury you both." "I know." "Then don't go." I didn't answer, because it wasn't that simple. This wasn't just revenge anymore. This was family, and not the kind you lose in divorce papers. The kind that sat beside you when your father died. The kind that brought you soup when your ribs were broken. Emily was that kind. I stood up, loaded my Glock, taped a blade to my ankle. Derek blocked the door. "You do this, it's suicide." I looked him in the eye. "Then don't waste time burying me. Use it to finish what I started." And I walked out, alone. 11:58 p.m. Old Refinery. Broken gates, wind slicing through rusted metal like knives. I walked in slow, no gun in my hand, just weight in my chest. Spotlights flared to life, four corners, blinding. They wanted me seen. I kept walking, didn't flinch. A black SUV idled near the center. Door opened. Reyes stepped out, pressed suit, hands in pockets like he was meeting an old friend for drinks. "You came," he smiled. I was almost disappointed. I said nothing. He nodded toward the warehouse. "She's inside, alive, for now." I moved. Two of his guys flanked me. No weapons drawn, yet. We reached the doorway. Big steel frame, cold air leaking out. I stepped through, and there she was. Emily, still tied, eyes swollen, but breathing. She looked up. "Jack." Her voice cracked, and something in me cracked with it. Then I heard the sound. Click, steel, behind me. The door was locking. The steel door slammed shut behind me, echoed like a final sentence. I spun, no handle. Just cold iron and silence. Reyes strolled in behind, calm as prayer. Two men followed. One held a tablet, the other, a gun. Emily sobbed softly. Her chair bolted to the floor, tape still over her mouth. "Relax," Reyes said. "If I wanted her dead, you'd be digging." He circled me. "You know what I hate, Jack? Loyalty. It's so inefficient. People kill for it, and die for it, but it never protects them." He stopped in front of Emily. "She cried for you, even tried to bite one of my guys. Admirable. Stupid." I lunged. 2 steps, then a boot to the ribs dropped me. I gasped, felt something shift inside. Reyes knelt next to me. "You're not here to save her. You're here to watch what happens when you fail." He stood, snapped his fingers. A man lifted a hammer and walked toward Emily. The hammer rose. Emily screamed behind the tape, chair shaking, tears running down her neck. I tried to stand. Ribs screamed. Vision spun. The guard kicked me back down. Gun pressed to my neck. Reyes leaned in, almost gentle. You can't win, Jack. This is what happens when you fight gods with grief. My eyes darted. One vent near the floor. Loose bolts. Barely enough. Then I felt it. The blade taped to my ankle. Forgotten. But still there. Still sharp. Heartbeat. One breath. Two. Now. I twisted my leg. Grabbed the blade. Slashed upward. Deep into the gunman's thigh. He screamed. Dropped the pistol. I rolled. Caught it mid-fall. One shot to his throat. Another to the second man's knee. They dropped like marionettes with cut strings. Reyes stepped back, shocked. First time I saw fear in his eyes. I rose, blood in my mouth, gun in hand, eyes on him. Wrong god, I growled. Wrong man. I limped toward Emily, one eye swollen, blood soaking into my shirt. She sobbed as I cut the tape, arms wrapped around my neck, shaking like wind through broken glass. It's okay, I whispered. I'm here. Behind me, Reyes stood frozen. No guards, no guns, just breath. You don't have to do this, he said. Neither did you, I answered. He laughed, forced, cracked. You think this ends with me? I'm just a branch. The roots run deep. Good, I said. Means there's still digging to do. I handed Emily the gun. Stay behind me. I stepped forward. Reyes backed toward the door. You're not a killer, Jack. I raised the pistol. You made me one. He froze, hands shaking, sweat running down his temple. I aimed at his leg, paused. But today, I want you to live with fear. Bang, one shot, clean. He dropped, screaming. Reyes howled on the floor, clutching his thigh. Blood pooled fast. He wouldn't bleed out, but he'd remember. I grabbed Emily's hand. Run. We ducked through the back corridor, half-finished cement walls, flickering exit light. She stumbled. I caught her. Outside, cold air, distant sirens, SUV still running. We jumped in. Derek's voice cracked through the radio. I saw the lights. You got her? Yes, we're out, for now. Not for long. Reyes's men just lit up 3 corners. They're scrambling. You've got maybe 10 minutes before they track your route. I gritted my teeth. Emily leaned against the window, still crying, still shaking. You okay? I asked. She nodded, barely. He said he knew everything about you. He doesn't, I said. Not yet. I turned onto the freeway, engine growling, city lights blurring behind us. Then Derek's voice came again, low, urgent. Jack, the safe house is burned. They found it. The safe house was ash, still warm when we got there. The air smelled like betrayal. Emily cried when she saw the cot. The photos burned. The map turned to black dust. I didn't. I just stood there, let the smoke sting my eyes. Derek pulled up an hour later, bruised, limping, but alive. We didn't speak much. Didn't need to. The war wasn't over. But something deeper was. I had her back. That was the win. We crossed the border that night. New IDs, new names, new silence. 3 weeks later, I sat in a park in Oaxaca. Emily fed pigeons. Derek drank cheap coffee. And I wrote one sentence in my notebook. There's a line you cross and you don't come back. But here's the truth. I did cross it. And no, I didn't come back. But I didn't disappear either. Somewhere between the man I was and the thing Reyes tried to make me, I found something still breathing, still human, still mine.